I guess we'll take care of two things at once here. We're going to talk a little bit this morning about the revelations of the county auditor and comptroller there in Conroe, Texas, there with the unusual bookkeeping financial records system that seems to have been cooked, and operations manuals that publish social security numbers to huge numbers of county employees, and apparently tax ID accounts for property owners across Montgomery County, Texas. I noticed the golden hammer is referring quite a lot to District Attorney Ligon, I guess his name is, excuse me, and I see where the County Sheriff Rand Henderson has got some deputies that are questioning the ethics and the operations of the County Sheriff's Department. Well, I think I want to make it very clear that the massive looting of the nation's savings and loans and banks, the massive TARP, Toxic Asset Recovery Program, the Consumer Finance Protection Board, and the infamous failures of Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, HUD, the FHA, and virtually every bank and every savings and loan in the nation were robbed for trillions, all using funny little real estate schemes and scams. Let me repeat that. Trillions went up in smoke using funny little fake real estate documents, also known as contracts to real estate. Let me repeat that. Contracts to real estate, contracts for deed, purchase contracts, any kind of real estate contract where fraudulent information is used to either swindle and cheat a federal lending program or swindle and cheat a consumer. Sort of like those non-border colonialists, the red flag, illegal, unrecorded land developments that Nelda Blair, Jim Blair, Jimmy Dozier, and Mark Thurnbull, and J.C. Devers, and Judge Sadler, old Alan Sadler knows all about this, and the Clintons, and certainly Kenneth Starr, you know, the Whitewater Castle Grande schemes, and let's see, Eric Holder, Loretta Lynch, Janet Reno, John Ashcroft, Alberto Gonzalez, Ed Meese, and the list just goes on and on through Louis Freeh at FBI, Jimmy Comey at FBI, Robert Mueller at FBI, and huge numbers of state attorney generals all over the nation. Funny little fake real estate documents. You know, contracts to real estate. If you got any questions about contracts to real estate, get a hold of the editor and publisher of the Golden Hammer in Conroe, Texas. Oh, Eric Yalek, he'll explain those contracts to real estate for you. And Judge Stephen McKeithen, Judge Kathleen Hamilton. Oh, there's a bunch of judges down there that are very familiar with the fact that contracts to real estate were used on a massive scale to rob the national banking, savings and loan and mortgage system, the pension funds. How about that, Miss Davenport? The pension funds were skimmed. The investment revenue accounts of the municipal governments and counties, the state retirement accounts, the Social Security, did I say Social Security numbers? Yes, I did, Miss Penny Martin. And we can go on and on and on and on and on through this whole thing. And especially, I'd like to mention Renee Powers and Pam Ragland out on the West Coast. They're very familiar with the paper land swindles, the fake documents of Select Portfolio Services, Taylor, Bean and Whitaker, the Madison Savings and Loan and Guarantee, and Wow, the Western Bank Corporation. Western Banks. Isn't that fascinating? Of Houston, Texas. Western Banks, RLG Holdings, Westgate Investments. But I think we'll leave it right there, folks. The fake papers and the phony, fraudulent contracts to real estate. Isn't this just a gas, Eric Yallick? Folks, we'll leave it right there. And as always, hasta la vista. God bless. And yes, I'm going to get back to my breakfast.